I froze at the edge of Yale's debate stage, my phone buzzing with a forged email that threatened to unravel everything before I'd even begun. Its words searing, urgent, topic change, non-compliance means disqualification. My name's Yolon Carter, a 17-year-old black kid from Oakland, California, and I'd traveled 3,000 miles to compete in the National Debate Invitational, only to feel the ground shift beneath me. The email, stamped with a Yale address, screamed sabotage, its midnight timestamp a red flag. And my gut pointed straight to Ethan Caldwell, Yale's golden boy, whose smirk I'd caught just hours ago. His hazel eyes glinting with malice as he whispered to his crew, "Let's see how he breaks." My heart slammed at 100 beats a minute, my $15 thrift store tie choking me, my scuffed sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. A stark contrast to the 200 tailored suits surrounding me, their owners kids from Seattle, Miami, and Boston. Me as an intruder. I clutched my sketchbook, its pages brimming with doodles and quotes from Oakland neighbors who'd pooled $75 for my bus ticket. Yolon, you're our voice. Back home, where schools limped on $7,500 per student against the national $12,000. I'd grown up 2 blocks from the Black Panther Party's old headquarters. My dad, a bus driver pulling 60-hour weeks for $18 an hour, teaching me to dream beyond our crumbling classrooms. But here, in this sea of privilege, I was drowning. Their whispers, who's he, wrong room, cutting like glass, each one a reminder of the racism that branded me outsider. Ethan, all 6 feet of Ivy League arrogance, leaned against a bench, his $1,000 ablazer a badge of untouchability, his voice slicing through, "What's this, a public school field trip?" His laugh, sharp and cruel, sparked snickers from his posse. Lucas, a tech whiz from Seattle with a cold grin, and Claire, a Miami debater whose smile hid disdain, each chuckle a jab at my right to exist in their world. At 18, Ethan wasn't just a competitor, he was a gatekeeper. His family's rumored $2 million Yale donations a shadow over the judges, his every taunt charity case. A calculated strike to uphold a system where 15% of students came from the top 1%, a 2023 stat that burned in my chest. My face flushed, but Dad's words steadied me, outsmart their hate. "Son." I shoved my phone in my pocket, my pulse racing, knowing this email was Ethan's opening shot, a test of whether I'd fold or fight. And I swore to myself Oakland didn't raise me to quit. The auditorium buzzed with 200 voices, their credentials swapped like currency, while I stood alone, my sketchbook my only ally. Its cover worn from nights sketching under Oakland's $10 street. Professor Evelyn Reed, the tournament's steely coordinator, took the stage, her voice like ice, her reputation for shredding weak speakers making my stomach lurch. Her eyes skimmed me, noting my faded backpack, dismissing me in a heartbeat. Her gaze lingering on Ethan with a nod, as if his legacy status was her default. "Icebreakers today, eliminations tomorrow," she announced, and the room erupted into cliques. Kids flaunting SAT scores and private tutors, their $3,000 laptops gleaming, while I clutched my cracked phone, its library app my lifeline to stats. On Oakland's 55% black poverty rate and Yale's history of favoring legacies, Ethan's voice cut through again. "Hey professor, are we mentoring locals now?" The laughter stung, Claire's giggle sharp, Lucas's smirk wide, and I wanted to fire back. But Dad's advice held, don't fight with words, win with them. I opened my sketchbook, sketching a quick outline for the first topic. Socioeconomic status shouldn't define college access. It wasn't just a prompt. It was my existence, a fight for my place in a room that saw me as a mistake. My phone buzzed. "Dad, they don't know you yet. Yolon, show him." I nodded, my chest tightening with resolve, but doubt crept in. Could I outshine their bias, their money, their system? Ethan's crew grew bolder, their taunts louder as the day wore on. "He's not on the roster," Claire muttered, her voice carrying, Lucas adding, "Must be a clerical error." Each word was a brick in the wall they built around me, their eyes scanning my $20 blazer like it was proof I didn't belong. I kept my head down, but inside I was screaming, my pencil carving Oakland's skyline into my book, a reminder of home where 25% of families lacked Wi-Fi. Yet we hustled, dreamed, fought. Practice rounds began, and Ethan's speech was a masterclass in manipulation. His stats on meritocracy, a percent of Americans valued it, he claimed, delivered with a charm that seduced the judges. Their nods a silent contract, his dad's alumni status a whisper in their ears. He was more than confident. He was predatory, his every word a flex of power. His crew's cheers a chorus of entitlement, Lucas's fist bump a seal of loyalty, Claire's clap a performance. When my turn came, my voice trembled, but I spoke of Oakland, of kids like me, clawing for scraps of opportunity. My school's 500-book library, a shackle compared to Ethan's 5,000. The room stayed silent. No applause, but Aisha, a debater from Chicago with a frayed hoodie, gave me a nod, her brown eyes warm, a flicker of kinship from her South Side roots. It was enough to keep me going, her quiet strength a mirror to my own, her presence a reminder that I wasn't alone. That night, in my dorm, I stayed up past 2 a.m., my $8 earbuds pumping jazz, prepping for the real rounds, my sketchbook filling with arguments about fairness, about Oakland's $5,000 funding gap, about my 4.2 GPA earned without tutors, Ethan's taunts field trip. Echoed, and doubt gnawed. Was I a fraud, a token let in to check a box? I pushed it down, sketching Mum's locket. Lost to cancer at 10, her $14 an hour shifts a sacrifice for my dreams, her belief, my anchor. Morning broke, and the elimination round felt like a gauntlet. The crowd swelling to 250, their whispers, sharper diversity, pick, he'll choke, each one a test of my resolve. I adjusted my tie, its frayed threads screaming Oakland, and faced the stage, my legs like jelly. Ethan went first, his speech a polished dagger, his stats cherry-picked, his charm a spell. The judges' smiles a betrayal of their bias, his eyes locking on mine mid-speech, a silent dare crumble. My name came last, Yale Carter, Oakland, public forum, silence. I stepped up, my sketchbook open to a doodle of Mom grounding me. Fairness isn't real, I started, my voice raw but growing. When the system's built to keep some of us out, I poured out Oakland's truth, 35 kids per classroom. Dad's 60-hour weeks, my fight for every A despite no AP classes. I spoke of Mom, her dream that I'd stand here, her locket heavy around my neck. My words weren't Ethan's silk. They were fire, raw and unyielding, forged in a city where 55% of black families scraped by on $30,000. The room stilled, then clapped, scattered but real, Aisha's hands loudest. Mateo from Phoenix and Nora from Atlanta joining, their faces alight, their own battles with bias a bond we shared. Professor Reed's pen paused, her gaze piercing, a crack in her icy facade. Ethan's smirk faltering as I passed, his muttered nice try laced with unease, his crew's cheers quieter, Lucas's eyes darting, Claire's smile tight, scores, posted, and I scanned the list, my breath catching Yale Carter, rank 14, just above the cutoff. Aisha high-fived me, her grin wide. You rattled Emulon. Mateo, his Phoenix accent thick, added, they're shook. Nora, her Atlanta drawl, soft, nodded, keep it up. Ethan's voice slithered through, lucky break. His eyes cold as steel, held a promise of worse. His charm a thin veil over a vendetta, his privilege a beast I'd wounded. He wasn't just a rival, he was Oakland's gentrifiers, its $2 million condos, its systems that pushed us out, and I was his target now. His fear of my truth, a fire he'd try to snuff. That afternoon, prepping in the library, another email hit. Topic change. Public schools breed mediocrity. Same fake Yale address, same midnight send. Ethan's crew lingered nearby, Lucas whispering, he's done. Claire's laugh, a blade. Ethan's smirk, a confession. I showed Aisha her curse soft. Dang, that's low, her south side fire matching mine. We suspected Ethan's hack. Lucas's tech boasts a clue, but proof was elusive. With 10 hours left, I was scrambling my phone at 38% battery. Oakland's lessons hustling without Wi-Fi, studying by candlelight kicking in. Aisha rallied Mateo and Nora, and we formed a study group. A rebellion against Ethan's elite cliques, pooling Mateo's debate manual. Nora's stats, 78% of us kids graduate. Public schools, and Aisha's Chicago data, 60% of black families, under $35,000, yet scholars rose. We laughed, Mateo mimicking Ethan's drawl, Nora sharing Atlanta's debate dreams, Aisha's stories of Southside grit weaving us tight. Our bond a shield against the 275-person crowd's growing stares. By 3 a.m., I had a speech, rough but fierce, about public schools as crucibles, not failures. My cousin's 4.0 despite no counselor or testament, Ms. Lopez's unpaid coaching my proof. At check-in, Professor Reed snapped, Carter, where's your real prep? I showed the email, my hands steady despite my pulse at 110. Her lips thinned, her eyes flicking to Ethan, lounging with his $200 sneakers. Fake, she said, her tone cold but knowing. The Yale Library's dim glow felt like a lifeline as I hunched over a borrowed tablet. My cracked phone at 35% battery, the fake email's words burning in my mind. Topic change. Public schools breed mediocrity. Prepare by 8 a.m. or face disqualification. It was 11 p.m., and the National Debate Invitational's first elimination round loomed in 9 hours. My original prep on meritocracy now useless. My name's Yale Carter, a 17-year-old from Oakland, California, 3,000 miles from home, and I knew this wasn't a glitch. Ethan Caldwell's smirk, sharp as a blade, had confession written all over it. His taunt from earlier, let's see how he cracks, echoed in my head. His hazel eyes glinting with the arrogance of someone whose family's Yale donations, rumored to be $2 million, bought him untouchable status. At 18, Ethan wasn't just a debater. He was a predator, his charm a mask for cruelty, his privilege a weapon honed to keep people like me, black, working class, public school kids, out. My heart raced at 100 beats a minute, but Oakland had taught me to fight through. chaos, and I wasn't about to let him win. I clutched my sketchbook, its pages filled with doodles and quotes from neighbors who'd scraped $75 for my trip. You're our pride. Back home, where 25% of families lacked Wi-Fi and schools ran on $7,500 per student, I'd learned to hustle, piecing together dreams in a city where gentrified condos worth $2 million pushed folks like us out. But here, among 250 Ivy League hopefuls who saw me as a trespasser, doubt clawed at me. Could I outsmart a system built to bury me? Aisha from Chicago, her hoodie as frayed as my $15 tie, slid into the seat beside me, her brown eyes narrowing at my screen. That email's fake, she whispered, her voice low but fierce. A sister Nams who'd caught Ethan's crew snickering about fixing me. She'd faced her own battles. Her Southside school's 40% dropout rate, a mirror to Oakland's struggles, and her quiet strength steadied me. We need a plan, she said, and I nodded, my fear morphing into resolve. Ethan's sabotage wasn't just personal, it was systemic. A reflection of the 2023 stats I'd read showing black students face 22% higher suspensions, skewing our shot at merit. I couldn't prove he'd hacked the email, yet his tech-savvy friend from Seattle, Lucas's, had bragged about tweaking systems, but I could fight back. I proposed a study group, a rebellion against the elite cliques who'd shunned us. Aisha recruited Mateo from Phoenix, his quick wit honed in a school with no debate team, and Nora from Atlanta, her soft drawl masking a mind like a steel trap. We gathered in a library corner, the tablet's smudged screen our war table, pooling Mateo's dog-eared debate manual and Nora's stats on public schools graduating. 78% of us students' laughter broke the tension as Mateo mimicked Ethan's smug drawl, and for the first time, I felt anchored, not alone. My dad's words rang, outsmart their hate, son. I sketched a new speech in my book, lines flowing like Oakland's street art, bold and unapologetic. Public schools weren't failures. They were battlegrounds where kids like me forged resilience. I thought of Ms. Lopez, my Oakland teacher who stayed late to coach me. Her $45,000 salary stretched thin, and how she'd seen potential in my doodles and arguments. By 2 a.m., my speech was rough but real, weaving data with stories of Oakland's grit, my cousin's 4.0 despite a school with no counselor, my own late night studying by a $10 lamp. Aisha added a stat. 60% of black families in her city earned under $35,000, yet churned out scholars. Mateo shared a Phoenix tale of a debate club funded by taco truck tips, and Nora's Atlanta stats showed public schools outperforming charters in community impact. Our voices blended, a chorus of underdogs, and I sketched us together, a crew defying the odds. But Ethan's shadow loomed. I'd overheard him at lunch, his voice low with Lucas. He'll crash by round 2. His confidence wasn't just ego, it was strategy. His family's legacy, a shield that let him bend rules without breaking. He wasn't just fighting me. He was defending a system where 15% of Yale's students came from the top 1%, a 2023 Federal Reserve stat that burned in my mind. His cruelty felt personal, but it was bigger, a gatekeeper's playbook, like the Oakland landlords evicting families for tech money. I pushed down the rage, my pencil snapping as I sketched his smirk, a vow to expose him. Morning came, gray and cold, my body aching from 3 hours of sleep. At check-in, Professor Evelyn Reed's voice was ice. Carter, where's your meritocracy prep? I showed the fake email, my hand steady despite my pulse at 105. Her lips thinned, her eyes flicking to Ethan, who lounged nearby, his $200 sneakers gleaming. Not ours, she said, her tone sharp but guarded, like she knew more than she'd say. 5 minutes. Original topic. Ethan's mock gasp, rough break, was a taunt, his crew's laughter a chorus of entitlement. I wanted to scream, but Oakland had taught me to pivot. Like when our power cut out and I studied by candlelight, I grabbed my sketchbook, scribbling notes, meritocracy's myth, Oakland's $5,000 funding gap, my 4.2 GPA against all odds. Aisha squeezed my shoulder. You got this. Mateo and Nora nodded, their faith a lifeline. The hall swelled to 275. The crowd stares heavier. Their whispers, he's the Oakland kid, diversity pig, cutting deep. Ethan's speech came first, a polished assault on handouts, his stats cherry-picked, his charm seducing the judges, who nodded like he was their son. His eyes met mine mid-speech, a flicker of triumph, like he'd already won. My name echoed your Carter, Oakland Public Forum. Silence. My legs shook, but I stepped to the podium, my sketchbook open, its doodles grounding me. Meritocracy's a lie, I started, my voice raw but rising. When the system's rigged to lift some and bury others, I poured out truth classrooms with 35 kids, my dad's 60-hour weeks for $18 an hour. My fight for every A. I spoke of Aisha's Chicago, Mateo's Phoenix, Nora's Atlanta, our schools underfunded but unyielding. My words weren't Ethan's silk, they were fire, forged in a city where 55% of black families scrape by on $30,000. I ended with a jab. Merit's not your birthright, it's what we earn against the odds. The room stilled, then erupted, not thunderous but real. Aisha, clap loudest. Professor Reed's pen froze, her gaze piercing like she saw me for the first time. Ethan's face tightened, his jaw clenched, his mask of charm cracking just enough to show the fear beneath he hadn't expected me to survive. As I stepped down, Aisha whispered, "You shook the whole dang room." Mateo grinned. "He's sweating now." Nora added, "Keep going, Yolan." I nodded, my chest tight with pride, but Ethan's stare followed me, his eyes promising retaliation. He wasn't done. This was personal now, his privilege, a castle he'd defend at any cost. I sketched his glare in my book, my pencil digging deep, because this wasn't just about the debate, it was about dismantling the walls he and his system built. My phone buzzed. "Dad heard your shining sun. Don't stop." I exhaled, the fire in my gut blazing. I'd survived Ethan's trap, but his next move was coming, and I had to be ready, for Oakland, for my crew, for every kid told they don't belong. I stood at the edge of Yale's debate stage, my pulse hammering at 98 beats a minute. The quarterfinal round's topic resolved. Affirmative action harms educational equity, hitting me like a personal indictment, as if my presence here, a 17-year-old black kid from Oakland, was itself up for debate. My name's Yalen Carter, and I'd clawed my way to rank 8 after surviving Ethan Caldwell's sabotage. His fake email, a calculated strike to knock me out. But I was still standing, my $15 thrift store tie a defiant flag, with Oakland's doodles and neighbor quotes like "Yolan, you're our fight," my shield against the 300-person crowd stares. Ethan, Yale's golden boy, his $1,000 blazer gleaming under the chandeliers, leaned toward his Seattle friend, Lucas, his smirk sharper than ever, his hazel eyes promising more trouble. At 18, he wasn't just a rival. He was a gatekeeper, his family's rumored $2 million Yale donations a fortress of privilege. His every move taunts, rumors, hacks designed to protect a system where 15% of students came from the top 1%, a 2023 stat that burned in my mind. His latest play was a whisper campaign, overheard in the dining hall. Carter's a fluke, propped up by pity points. His crew, Lucas, a tech whiz with a cruel streak, and Claire from Miami, her polished smile masking disdain, spread it like wildfire. Their words echoing Oakland's gentrifiers who called us outsiders in our own city. But I'd learned, in Oakland, where schools scraped by on $7,500 per student, to turn hate into fuel, and I wasn't backing down. My dad's voice echoed, "Outsmart their hate, son." The crowd's murmurs, "He's the Oakland kid, just a diversity slot," stung. But Aisha from Chicago, Mateo from Phoenix, and Nora from Atlanta, my rogue study group, sat front row, their nods a lifeline. Professor Evelyn Reed, the tournament's steely arbiter, called us to order, her gaze skimming me like I was a footnote, her reputation for crushing weak arguments making my stomach twist. Ethan went first, his speech a velvet assault, arguing affirmative action lowered standards. His stats 70% of Americans, he claimed, opposed it, delivered with a charm that seduced the judges, their pens dancing. His eyes flicked to me mid-speech, a taunt, his confidence a blade honed by years of untouchable privilege, his dad's alumni status a whispered guarantee of favor. I sketched his smirk in my book, my pencil digging deep, because this wasn't just about winning, it was about exposing the lie he embodied. My turn came. Yalen Carter, Oakland Public Forum. The silence was heavy, 300 pairs of eyes waiting for me to crumble. My legs shook, but I gripped the podium, my sketchbook open to a doodle of Oakland's skyline, grounding me. "Affirmative action isn't the problem," I started, my voice raw but steady. "It's the bandage on a wound this country's ignored for centuries." I dove into Oakland's history. Schools desegregated in 1969. Black kids bussed to hostile classrooms, my own school's 500-book library versus Ethan's 5,000. I cited 2024 data. 65% of Americans aged 25 to 55 supported diversity policies, not the 70% Ethan cherry-picked. Then I went personal, my voice catching. My mom died when I was 10, cancer taking her before she saw me debate. She worked 50-hour weeks as a clerk for $14 an hour, believing I'd get a shot. This, I gestured to the stage, is that shot, and no one gets to call it charity. The room stilled, a few gasps breaking the quiet. Aisha's eyes shone. Mateo's fist pumped subtly. Nora's nod urged me on. I locked eyes with Ethan. "If equity's your goal, why do legacy admissions your ticket outnumber affirmative action slots 3-1? The crowd stirred, judges scribbling, Ethan's jaw tightening, his charm faltering for a split second, revealing a flicker of doubt. He wasn't invincible, and I'd hit a nerve. The applause was scattered but real, a shift from the silence I'd faced before. Professor Reed's gaze lingered, her pen still, her mask of indifference cracking just enough to show intrigue. Ethan's rebuttal was sharp, accusing me of playing the victim, but his voice wavered, his usual silk fraying, and I countered calmly. "The real victims are the kids locked out by systems you defend." The room buzzed, a few students nodding, others shifting uncomfortably, the weight of truth settling in. Off stage, Ethan's crew doubled down, Claire whispering to a judge about my sob story. Lucas spreading rumors on a debate forum, their posts racking up 200 likes. Oakland kids a quota pick. I overheard a Yale student mutter, "He's good, but is he that good?" Doubt crept in. Was I just a token? I pushed it down. My dad's text lighting my phone. "You're shaking their world, son." I needed to do more, to turn their skepticism into respect. That night, I hosted a storytelling circle in the dorm lounge, a new idea born from Oakland's street poetry nights, where neighbors shared truths over coffee. I invited Aisha, Mateo, Nora, and any debater brave enough to join, framing it as a way to know who we're fighting for. I started, sharing how my mum's dream fueled me, her $5 locket around my neck a reminder of her belief. Aisha spoke of Chicago's South Side. Her brother denied college aid, despite a 4.0, his 60-hour warehouse job a trap. Mateo shared Phoenix's heat, 110 degrees Fahrenheit summers where his undocumented cousins studied in trailers, their dreams deferred. Nora told of Atlanta's gentrified blocks, her school's $3,000 budget for debate against private academies. $30,000. Even a shy Yale student, Emily, joined, her voice trembling about prep school pressure to be perfect. Her parents $100,000. Donations a chain. The circle grew to 15, our stories weaving a tapestry of struggle and hope, softening biases, turning strangers into allies. A New Haven journalist, covering the tournament, slipped in, her notebook filling with quotes. Her ex-post later viral with 3,000 retweets. Oakland teens storytelling circle redefines Yale's debate. Hashtag Jalen Carter Ethan passing by. Scoffed to Lucas. He's turning this into a therapy session. But his voice held an edge, his confidence rattled. His crew's laughter quieter, like they sensed the tide turning. The semifinal topic dropped at midnight. Resolved. Digital activism outpaces traditional organizing. It was my territory. Oakland's 2021 protests, amplified online, had saved my community center from a $500,000 budget cut. I prepped with my crew, my $8 earbuds blasting Coltrane, pulling stats. Black Lives Matter's digital campaigns raised $90 million in 2020. But Ethan's shadow grew darker. I caught him with Claire, their heads bent over a laptop, Lucas muttering about digging dirt on me. His vendetta was personal now, his privilege a wounded beast. His fear of losing to a nobody like me driving him to uglier tactics. I sketched his glare, my pencil carving deep, my heart torn between anger and pity. He was trapped in a system that made him this way, but I wouldn't let him define me. The semifinals came. My opponent, Priya from Denver, her resume a mile long, her arguments polished but cold. Like Ethan's, I took the stage. The crowd now 325, their whispers softer, some curious, others still skeptical. Digital activism isn't noise, I said, my voice steady. It's the only megaphone for voices like mine. I wove in Oakland's online petitions, my cousin's viral fundraiser for our school's $2,000 art program, and how ex-posts rallied $5,000 to save our center. I choked up once, mentioning Mum's locket, how she'd have tweeted my speech with pride. Priya's rebuttal was fierce, but I countered with data. 75% of 25 to 55-year-olds in 2025 trusted digital campaigns. The judge's verdict rang. Jalen Carter advances. Applause roared. No longer hesitant, Aisha's cheer loudest. Professor Reed approached backstage, her voice low. "You're changing their game, Carter. Brace for the final." Ethan, watching his jaw tight, his eyes a storm, knew I was no fluke. I was a threat, and he'd come for me harder, but I was ready. For Oakland, for Mum, for every kid told they don't belong. I stood at the podium in Yale's Sanders Auditorium, my heart thundering at 102 beats a minute. The final round of the National Debate Invitational, a crucible where every word could either forge my future or burn it to ash. My name's Yale Carter, a 17-year-old black kid from Oakland, California, 3,000 miles from home. My $15 thrift store tie a quiet rebellion against the 350-person crowd's skeptical stares. Their whispers, "He's the Oakland kid, how'd he get this?" Far a reminder of the racism I'd fought to reach this moment. Across the stage, Ethan Caldwell, Yale's golden boy, his $1,000 blazer pristine, his hazel eyes glinting with calculated malice, stood ready to crush me. His family's rumored $2 million Yale donations a shadow over the judge's table. 18 Ethan wasn't just my rival. He was a fortress of privilege. His sabotage fake emails, whisper campaigns, forum rumors designed to bury me. A public school nobody who dared challenge his world. His latest move, a viral debate forum post by his Seattle friend Lucas, claimed I'd cheated to reach the finals, racking up 4,000 likes and poisoning the crowd's perception. His cruelty a mirror of Oakland's gentrifiers who'd priced my neighbors out with $2 million condos. But I'd survived his traps, climbing to rank 2, and now, facing him head-on. I carried my sketchbook, its doodles and Oakland quotes, "You're alone, you're our fire," my armor against his venom. The topic resolved. Elite institutions uphold. Academic excellence, dripped with irony. a direct jab at my existence here. But my dad's voice echoed, outsmart their hate, son. Aisha from Chicago, Mateo from Phoenix, and Nora from Atlanta, my rogue crew, sat front row, their eyes fierce with belief, their presence a lifeline after our storytelling circle had turned skeptics into allies. Professor Evelyn Reed, the tournament's iron-willed arbiter, opened the round, her gaze sharp but unreadable, her reputation for fairness my only hope against Ethan's influence. Ethan spoke first, his voice smooth as glass, painting Yale as a beacon of merit. Citing 2023 surveys, 80% of Americans trusted elite colleges, he claimed his charm a spell that drew judge nods, his every gesture polished by years of private tutors and $100,000 prep courses. But his words hid a lie, his eyes locking on mine mid-speech, a silent vow to erase me. His privilege, a blade sharpened by fear of losing to someone like Meblak, working class, unapologetic. I sketched his smirk, my pencil trembling, because this wasn't just a debate. It was a reckoning, a chance to expose the system he embodied, where 15% of Yale's students came from the top 1%, a 2023 Federal Reserve stat that fueled my fire. My turn came. Yale and Carter, Oakland Public Forum. The silence was deafening, 350 pairs of eyes waiting for me to falter. My legs quaked, but I gripped the podium, my sketchbook opened to a doodle of Mom's locket, her $5 keepsake around my neck, her memory lost to cancer at 10, her 50-hour clerk shifts for $14 an hour, urging me forward. Excellence. I began, my voice raw but rising. Not when institutions like this gatekeep opportunity to protect their own. I dove into the sabotage, not naming Ethan but laying it bare. Someone sent a fake email to derail me, to silence a voice they didn't think belonged. Gasps rippled, Aisha's jaw dropping, Mateo's fist clenching, Nora's eyes wide. I pressed on, citing Oakland's history. Black students barred from equal schools until 1969. My own, with 35 kids per class. No counselor in 2024 data. 60% of black families earned under $35,000. Yet we fought for every chance. This stage, I said, my voice cracking, is my mom's dream, and no one gets to steal it. I turned to Ethan, my gaze steady. If excellence is your claim, why do legacy admissions, your birthright, lock out kids who've earned it? The crowd stirred, judges scribbling, a few students whispering, he's right. Ethan's face hardened, his charm fracturing, a flicker of panic betraying his fortress. The applause was loud, not universal but undeniable, a shift from the scattered claps I'd earned before. Professor Reed's pen stilled, her eyes locked on me, a glint of respect breaking her mask. Ethan's rebuttal was vicious, accusing me of exploiting race. His stats legacy admissions were only 10%, he lied delivered with a snarl, his composure unraveling, his crew's cheers forced, Lucas's smirk fading, Claire's polished smile tight. I countered calmly, you dodged the truth, Ethan. Excellence isn't inherited, it's fought for, against systems you uphold. The room buzzed, a judge nodding, the crowd's energy tilting my way. Cross-examination was a battlefield, Ethan grilling me on merit, his questions laced with venom. How's your school's 30% graduation rate? Excellent. I fired back. It's not the kids failing, it's the system, with $5,000 less per student than yours. His jaw twitched, his eyes blazing, his privilege exposed as a crutch, not a crown. I ended with a new idea, born from Oakland's community drives, a scholarship fund for public school debaters. Pitched to the judges as I stepped down, my voice steady. If Yale wants excellence, fund the kids locked out, not the ones born in. A judge leaned forward, intrigued, Aisha whispering, that's bold, Yalen. The crowd murmured, some clapping, others stunned, the idea rippling like a stone in a pond. Ethan's final speech fumbled, his stats rushed, his charm hollow, his crew's cheers weak, Lucas avoiding his gaze, Claire's smile gone. The judges deliberated, the room thick with tension. 350 breaths held, my heart at 110 beats a minute. I sat with Aisha, Mateo, and Nora, their hands squeezing mine, their faith a shield against Ethan's glare, his eyes now desperate, his fortress crumbling. He wasn't just fighting me, he was fighting the truth I'd laid bare, a truth Oakland to have had carved into my racism wasn't just personal, it was structural, and I'd named it. The verdict came, winner Yolon Carter. The room erupted, applause thundering, Aisha's scream piercing, Mateo and Nora jumping, students standing, even skeptics clapping, their faces softened by respect. Ethan froze, his bag slung over his shoulder, his exit swift, no handshake, his crew trailing, Lucas muttering, this is bull. Professor Reed approached, her voice low, you didn't just win, Carter. You redefined this stage. Her handshake was firm, her eyes warm, a rare crack in her armor. My phone lit up. Dad, you're my hero, son. I choked back tears, Mom's locket heavy, her dream alive in me. The journalist's ex-post exploded, 5,000 retweets. Oakland teen topples Yale's elite. Hashtag Jalen Carter backstage. Aisha hugged me. You changed the game, Mateo grinned. Ethan's done. Nora added, you're unstoppable. I exhaled, pride swelling, but Ethan's shadow lingered. his defeat a spark for vengeance, his privilege a wounded beast. I sketched the crowd's roar, my pencil soft now, because this wasn't just my win, it was Oakland's mom's, every underdog's. I'd exposed Ethan's sabotage, but more, I'd cracked Yale's ivory tower, showing 25 to 55-year-olds across to America that racism's walls could fall, one truth at a time. My scholarship pitch echoed in my mind, a seed for change, a vow to open doors Ethan's system had slammed shut. I was still here, still fighting, and no one, not Ethan, not his world, could silence me now. I leaned against the railing of my Oakland porch, the 82 degrees Fahrenheit evening settling around me like a warm embrace. My $15 thrift store tie undone. My sketchbook open to a doodle of Yale's Sanders Auditorium, its towering arches, a faint memory now. Weeks after I'd won the National Debate Invitational, a triumph that felt both surreal and heavy with the weight of the racism I'd battled to claim it. My name is Yolon Carter, 17, a black kid from a city where schools scrape by on $7,500 per student. 3,000 miles from the Ivy League's polished world, where 350 strangers had judged me by my faded blazer and Oakland accent. Their stereotypes a chain I'd broken with every word I spoke. Ethan Caldwell, Yale's golden boy, his $1,000 suit a banner of privilege, had been my fiercest enemy. His sabotaged fake emails, viral rumors on debate forums, whispers of my diversity pick status, desperate bid to erase me, his family's rumored $2 million Yale donations, a fortress that made him untouchable, or so he thought. At 18, Ethan wasn't just a debater. He was the embodiment of a system where 15% of Yale's students came from the top 1%, a 2023 Federal Reserve stat that fueled my resolve. His hazel eyes blazing with panic when I exposed his tricks in the final round, his defeat a tremor in a world built to exclude me. Now, back home, Ethan faced a disciplinary hearing. His hacked emails traced to a Yale server, his debate career shattered, his crew Lucas from Seattle, whose tech skills fueled the sabotage, and Claire from Miami, her polished smile a mask for complicity abandoning him, their loyalty as fragile as their privilege. But my victory wasn't about Ethan's collapse. It was about lifting others. A truth my dad's voice carried across 3,000 miles. Outsmart their hate, son. Oakland had erupted in pride, my win a spark that lit up our community, where 60% of black families earned under $35,000, a 2024 stat that framed our fight. Neighbors raised $7,000 to launch a debate club at my school, the first in 17 years. With 25 kids signing up, their notebooks clutched like mine, their dreams stretching beyond our 30% graduation rate. I coached them twice a week, my voice echoing Mom's. Lost to cancer when I was 10, her $5 locket around my neck a tether to her 50-hour clerk shifts for $14 an hour. Her belief that I'd rise above Oakland's cracked sidewalks. The local paper ran a front-page story. Oakland teen defies odds at Yale. With 4,200 X shares, each retweet a fist raised against the implicit bias that had tried to silence me. A bias 70% of 25 to 55-year-olds recognized in a 2025 survey, demanding change. But I wasn't content with headlines. I wanted to amplify voices like mine, to rewrite the narrative for kids the system ignored. So I launched Voices Unheard, a podcast sharing stories of underdogs. My first episode featuring a Navajo girl from Flagstaff who'd built her school's website on a $100 laptop, her story hitting 15,000 downloads in a month, her shy giggle a spark that ignited my purpose. Aisha from Chicago, Mateo from Phoenix, and Nora from Atlanta, my Yale crew, joined as guests. Their tales of Southside resilience, desert grit, and gentrified Atlanta weaving a tapestry of defiance. Our group chat now a daily lifeline. Their laughter a reminder of the storytelling circle that had turned Yale's skeptics into allies. A New Haven journalist, whose viral post had boosted my win to 5,000 retweets, emailed, "Your podcast's a movement, Even Emily, the Yale student from our circle, reached out. Her $100,000 prep school pressure eased. Now volunteering to coach public school debaters in Boston, her transformation a ripple from our late-night truths. But Ethan's ghost haunted me, not as a person but as a symbol of the system's stubborn roots. His family's influence lingered, their push to bury his scandal a murmur at Yale's 450-person alumni dinner, where I'd been invited as a guest speaker. Their guarded stares a reminder that racism didn't vanish with one win. I stood at that dinner, my $20 blazer a badge of pride, and spoke. This isn't about MIE, it's about the next kid, the one your system overlooks. Some clapped, others fidgeted, their discomfort a sign I'd struck a nerve, my words echoing Oakland's 2021 protests that saved our $500,000 community center via X campaigns. Yale's response was a letter, a full scholarship to their summer program. It's $12,000 value a dorm mom would have wept to see. And a note from Professor Evelyn Reed. "You've redefined our stage, Yolin." I held it, my eye stinging, but the real victory was back home, where Kashia, a 14-year-old in our debate club, sketched arguments like I did, Her dream to debate at Howard, a mirror of my Yale fire. Her doodles bold despite our school's $2,000 art budget. A Yale alumnus, inspired by my final round pitch for a public school debater fund, pledged $75,000. His email quoting me, "Excellence isn't inherited, it's fought for." That fund, now at $100,000 with community gifts, was my legacy. A crack in the walls Ethan's world had fortified. A promise to kids like Kishia that their voices weren't just heard, they were unstoppable. Yet drama simmered. Ethan's family hired lawyers, their influence seeping into Yale's board. A whisper campaign suggesting my win was tainted by emotional manipulation. Their words a dagger that cut deeper than Ethan's taunts. A reminder that racism's claws reached beyond one villain. I faced it head-on, invited to a 500-person education conference in San Francisco, 50 miles from Oakland, where I shared my story, my voice steady. Racism isn't just a system, and we dismantle it by lifting each other. The crowd stood, their applause a wave. A 2025 poll resonating. 75% of 25 to 55-year-olds backed systemic reform. Back in Oakland, I walked to our community center, 0.3 miles from home. Its mural of Angela Davis fading but fierce, and felt Mom's locket warm against my chest. I sketched Kishia's debate team, their laughter, my podcast's logo, a megaphone with Oakland's skyline, my pencil dancing, because this was bigger than me. It was a movement, a roar against stereotyping, bias, underestimation. A truth for every American aged 25 to 55 to carry. I thought of Aisha, now organizing Chicago's first public school debate league. Mateo's Phoenix mentorship for undocumented kids. Nora's Atlanta fundraiser for black debaters. Each a thread in the fabric we'd woven at Yale. Even Lucas, Ethan's tech friend, emailed an apology. His role in the sabotage eating at him. His words a small crack in the system's armor. A sign that change, however slow, was real. Reflecting on my journey, I saw lessons carved in every scar. Resilience turned hate into power. My Oakland roots as strength, not a shame. Despite stereotypes that branded my clothes and accent as lesser, I learned to wield my story, to make my background a weapon, proving that appearance didn't define worth. Implicit bias, from Ethan's taunts to judges' early nods for him, taught me to demand space, to speak louder than their assumptions. My truth, a light in academic spaces built to dim me. Underestimation, the crowd's fluke whispers, fueled my drive to showcase my intellect, not just my struggle. My 4.2 GPA, a silent rebuke to those who doubted my skill. I learned alliances were power. My cruise circle, our podcast, turned strangers into family, showing that community could shift hearts. Planting seeds, like the scholarship fund, taught me change was incremental but real. Each dollar, a step toward equity. Above all, I learned racism thrived in silence, personal or structural, and my voice, Oakland's voice, could shatter it. A lesson born from Mum's dream, Dad's faith, my crew's fire. Sitting here, I ask you if you were in a similar situation, with elements like stereotyping based on appearance or background, implicit bias in academic spaces, underestimation of skill and intelligence. How would you approach it to achieve the best possible outcome? Would you embrace your truth, forge your crew, or sow your own seeds for change? I'm still learning, still sketching, but I know this. My journey from Oakland's murals to Yale's stage, from Ethan's sabotage to a $100,000 fund, no one can dim a fire lit by purpose. Not Ethan, not his system, not the world's doubts. I'm Yolan Carter, and I'm here, for Mom, for Oakland, for every voice rising to be heard.